the warmest of welcomes to our NECE community joining us for the NECE Conference 2020 virtually. Firstly, I'd like to say many thanks to our exceptional musical accompaniment today, a Berlin-based band live with us here at the BCC Conference Center, Il Civetto. Thank you. And secondly, I'd like to introduce a colleague of mine, Dirk Hulverscheid, who is a facilitator accompanying us also for the next 2 days. Dirk, over to you.
Thanks so much. And this is my wonderful colleague, Tanja Murphy-Lebasic, and we will be together hosting and guiding you through the next 2 days. This year, everybody knows that everything is very different. So the same happened also to the NECE conference. And we will have, I think, a very nice program lined up on it, all based on a hybrid format around it here. And of course, we would have loved to all welcome you here in Berlin and have this conference in presence. But of course, it's not possible at the moment. So Tanja, what do we have? How's this going to work, this hybrid thing?
So we have a selection of technology that we're going to be using over the next 3 days in total. We have a handful of people here with us, and we will be welcoming some live guests later on here to the stage. For the technology, we're going to be using live streaming, we're going to be using video conferencing, and we're going to be using an interactive platform so that you can participate in the workshops, you can add your voice to what is being said, and hopefully get the impression that it's almost the same as being live. So, 2 things I'd like to mention is that the hashtags, in fact, if you are on social media for Twitter and for Facebook, we have one hashtag which is NECE 2020, and the second one is the hashtag Digital NECE. Please feel free, add your voice to the social media, spread the word, it would be wonderful. If you have any information you would like to find, go to the NECE conference webpage, that's www.nece-conference 2020. Oh, sorry, no, that's wrong. Excuse me.
Yeah.
It's www.nece-conference.eu. That was correct now. Okay. Thank you, Dirk. Would you
Thanks so much, Tanja. Yeah, so for today, we have our program. First of all, I think we will get a warm welcome from all the organizing parties and institutions around it there, and Christoph is already standing here. Afterwards, we will have a young stakeholder challenge, where there's been lots of young people across Europe been actually proposing their ideas and visions for Europe. We will get a sneak preview of what's to come for us in the future there. Followed by that, we will have an opening talk around the lessons learned, citizenship education, art and culture for a sustainable world. This will be a panel talk on live stream here, and then followed up later on by a keynote by the marvelous Maya Göpel, talking about rethinking our world and connecting it to education and civic education processes around it there. So that's our program for the afternoon. Stay tuned, and let's hand it over to Christoph and Anne.
Yes, thanks Dirk and Tanja for this great intro into the technical setting and the housekeeping in that audience hall in Berlin, which is both online and offline at the same time. So a warm welcome to all of you and to our more than 700 viewers following this event at the moment, possibly many more on live stream. And on our screens, I say hello and welcome to Anne Lovins, joining us from Brussels. I say hello to Sheila Nabachwa from Kampala, Uganda. I say hello to Ziad from Beirut and Christine from Tbilisi in Georgia. And last but not least, to Sam Kibizi from Marseille. We will hear from all of you in a minute. Let me start here with a big thank you to all our partners who helped us organize that event in the framework of Germany's EU presidency in the past months. Not only the Goethe Institute, our strategic partner, but also a great number of networks, foundations, think tanks and NGOs who have supported this event, both intellectually and financially. And I would also like to give a hand to the great organizing team, both at my agency, the BPB, the Federal Agency for Civic Education, and of course the Lab Concepts Agency. What a great job you did in putting all that together in the past months, against all odds, one has to say, and you are still doing that great job as we speak. So it's my great pleasure really to kick off our conference in 2020. A year, Dirk mentioned it, in which the world has changed and is still changing for all of us in a way, in more than one way. We opened this conference just hours after the poll stations in the US have closed, and we still are holding our breath or biting our nails. And we opened it also against the background of a series of horrific events and the murder of innocent citizens in Europe, from Paris to Nice and Vienna. And really, let's not forget the 35 students murdered in Kabul only days ago. So what better reason and time, I would argue, to convene in such a conference, as we all need, I think, an open and warm space, even if it's a digital one, which we can use in the great tradition of NECE. First, as a learning opportunity for all of us, because we all need to learn how to adapt to this brand new situation. And secondly, of course, a networking tool. And last but not least, yes, a roadshow of the best citizenship education, formal, non-formal, informal, can offer both in theory as in practice and in terms of ideas, of course. So this hub of transnational learning and exchange should be the place to be for all of us, at least for the next 2 days. And that's why, simply because that's a watershed year for citizenship education in Europe, as we claim in our NECE declaration, which we all invite you to sign. Just check out the website nece.eu. And more than ever, key competences of citizenship are required to cope with the pandemic. Governments, for example, rely on citizens to deal with uncertainty or to think critically as to distinguish the reliable from the misinformation. To give just 2 examples, citizenship education certainly needs to be prioritized more than ever by the European Union, by national and local governments alike, by all of us, if you like. So it's not a nice to have addition, but really an indispensable part of all education in a democracy. So on that note, I'm welcoming you again. Please stay tuned. I'm looking forward to 2 more great panels today and to a great number, a rich variety of sessions tomorrow, and an open space on November 7 with Susanne Ulrich, and of course the closing panel with representatives of the European Union and the Council of Europe to discuss the NECE declaration I just mentioned. So join NECE, keep well, and with that, over to you, Anne, and our partners. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christoph. From Brussels, I would like to thank everyone who made this conference possible. It took a great deal of flexibility, creativity, and technical know-how for this hybrid conference on citizenship education to take place, so that we can stay connected, learn from each other, and share experiences, thanks to the very interesting and diverse program of the coming days. At a time when democracy and its institutions are under pressure, the sense of urgency for citizenship education is becoming more and more clear. Democracies are ill-equipped to deal with long-term issues. Its basic norms are challenged by populists. Polarization is rising. Trust in the democratic system is very low. According to the Eurobarometer, only 39% of Belgians have confidence in the national government, 42% in parliament, and only 19% in political parties. Confidence in the political system is very low at present, figures that are not very different in other European countries. But not only trust is a challenge. Citizens in our European democracies are rarely prevented from participating, but the feeling that they can actually make a difference is often lacking in low-educated and low-income groups. Empowerment to feel that they can make a difference and the development of the skills to do so are crucial. Raising awareness about the importance and the challenges of democracy and society, and empowering to ensure that everyone can participate equally are what citizenship education should and can strive for. The Bellevue does this with workshops for schools and trainings and tools for teachers, but being part of NECE enables us to exchange experiences and learn from each other in order to improve our methods and approach. In an ever-changing society, this is indispensable but also very enriching. The Bellevue is therefore very excited about the program of the coming days and hope that you are as well. So thank you again for making this possible. Enjoy and be inspired. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. That was great statement from Brussels. And so I'm pretty pleased, of course, to welcome our partners all over the world, as I just mentioned. Let's kick it off with Sheila from Kampala in Uganda. Would you like to say a few words, greeting the audience? I think that's not Sheila. So we are still waiting for an unmute sound, of course.
Thank you so much, Christophe. Thank you so much, our friends from NECE. This is a message from the Civic Education Network for Eastern and Southern Africa. Imagine all the way from Africa, miles apart, and yet together in the same room. Thank you so much for inviting us. Congratulations to NECE. We really, really look forward to reconnecting again, as the theme says of our work, of our conference. We look forward to reconnecting again. We look forward to learning and listening on how civic education can take a central role in addressing the challenges by COVID. Lastly, we look forward to the solidarity that we shall see together with NECE, together with NECE and NECE in and after this conference. Thank you very much, and congratulations and greetings from NECE.
Thanks so much, Sheila, for this great statement, and really we all hope for that reconnection, as you said. So next on my list is Christina Candelaki from NECE, joining us from Tbilisi in Georgia. Welcome, Christina.
Hello, I'm happy to welcome you on the NECE annual conference on behalf of NECE, that's Eastern European Network of Citizenship Education. NECE is honored to participate in this event organized by NECE, our mother organization. In this unusual and challenging era, citizenship education has become one of the most important instruments for formation of democratic and human-oriented society. And I'm sure we all believe that citizenship education ought to be at the top of political priorities on all levels, as it is a way to democracy, equality, tolerance, responsibility, peace, and sustainable development, of course. We all should promote citizenship education because, as NECE believes, this is the art of living together. This is our slogan for this year. As we live in a global world, and recent experiences, especially COVID-19 pandemic, have proven it once more, we all should elaborate ways of living together that we NECE somehow see as an art. And we people gathered here as artists should find various creative ways for engaging young people and other generations in civic education, for spreading citizenship values as far and as deep as possible. So let's endorse and appreciate citizenship education once more and practice the art of living together. Wish you interesting and fruitful days with NECE Conference 2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Christina, for really thinking of civic education as an art, and I think it's a great and appropriate term, so to say, to look at our profession as something artistic and creative, with lots of creativity. So let's move on to Beirut. Ziad Hadara from NECE is joining us. Welcome, Ziad.
Thank you, Christophe. Good afternoon from Beirut, everybody, and greetings on behalf of NECE, the Arab Network for Civic Education, the small but growing sister of NECE. We are the sister, not the daughter, like the other. I'm happy that this conference and the material that I was reading and the background material is renewing the emphasis on civic education. And very hopeful that since our two regions are neighbors and interlinked around the Mediterranean, that some of that renewed energy and renewed momentum around civic education will spill over to our side as well. For sure, it's very much needed right now. We're facing amazingly challenging times. The challenges are enormous. I understand from the NECE declaration that I read that the relaunch of the EU, as you say, needs to be not only economic, but also democratic. I would also add and stress that a major effort and emphasis should be given to the issue of identity and belonging in today's societies. For sure, this issue is a huge ongoing concern for us here in the Middle East, as we struggle still with what defines a national identity and how does that coexist with all sorts of religious identities, of other global and regional trends. There's a lot of competition for identity, but also the very unfortunate events that have happened recently in France and also in Vienna remind us that this issue of identity and belonging is also very much a European and probably also a global concern. So we all seem to have now this nagging, difficult question that is common to both our regions, but to all regions, which is how to define identity in today's world, an identity that is anchored in national pride and common societal values, but one that also acknowledges human rights and diversity and other trends. So I look forward to fruitful conversations around these issues, future collaborations with NECE, but also with all the other networks. But for now, I'd like to wish you all a great conference. I look forward to participating in many of the events myself. Good luck and enjoy.
Thanks, Ziad, and thanks really for pointing out urgent and really toxic issues like national identity. And I really want to point out that we will have a workshop, a joint workshop of CENISA, NECE, and INSEE on that question tomorrow. So check out the program again, and of course you will get more input on that questions. So let's go to Marseille now. Sam Kibizi is there, joining us, and director of Les Têtes de l'Art, creative and cultural educational enterprise in Marseille. So I'm looking forward to your statement, Sam. Great to have you.
I'm really happy to be with you guys because, as you know, we had the chance to welcome the NECE conference 2 years ago in Marseille, and it was a great moment. Actually, in France, we have, like in other countries, 100 reasons to be sad and anxious about the situation. But we have also, in front of that, thousands of reasons to be full of hope. We had our time of minutes of silence in all the schools, in all the places in France. But now it's time to get our voices louder, because we have to share the real challenges and the real solution. For what I saw in the media in the last day, it was only question about the failure of our security and justice system, etc. But no one stressed the real challenges of education. And it's also our role together to stress this huge challenge we have to face together, to push the question of citizenship education, formal and informal, together. I'm also proud of announcing in the beginning of this conference that what we've done in 5 years, following the NECE different debates about the AGCM. It's a network dedicated to the youth in the Mediterranean that we are about to launch at the end of the month, a new youth assembly of the Mediterranean. And what I want to conclude with is there is no strong Europe without a close relation and fruitful cooperation with the Mediterranean in general. So Mediterranean is not out of the European debate, and we have to work together. And thanks also to all the networks, the Sisters Network, as Ziad mentioned, that we're collaborating together. So let's go and deeper our collaboration together. Good conference for all. Thank you.
Sam, thanks so much. And really, I think all these statements show that NECE is not an inward-looking, Eurocentric network, but really tries to reach out to the world, so to say. And we are so happy to have all of you at our side, basically, and in order to open up and to enrich our ideas and formats. And so we hope to move on in that direction in the coming years, and of course during that conference as well. So on that note, let me hand it over back to our moderators, Tanja and Dirk.